Welcome to Slow Home Studio. Too many people live in badly designed houses, and we want to change that.
It's Friday, June the 10th, and we're going to be continuing along with our small space series. It's really got some legs. We've had a really great week on the site.
It's really hit a chord with people. I think people are really relating to the whole topic of small space design, and it's a really interesting topic because when you have those restrictions in terms of square footage, people actually become very creative, and we've had all sorts of examples of creative thinking over the past week.
That's right. So we thought we'd take a little bit of a break from the laneway issue because we're not quite finished with that. We still are waiting for some projects from interior design students from New York to be submitted, but we thought we would break away and look at a renovation to a small house, actually from Den Architecture in Miami. And it's a house on the outskirts, an older house on the outskirts of Miami, and we've got some before and after images that we want to show you and talk about. And it's really all about the detailing in the millwork in the kitchen and the bathroom. They didn't really have the ability to change any walls. All it was just taking out the existing millwork and putting new in, but it makes a tremendous difference. So here's the before shot of the kitchen. And
Yikes.
You can see that.
Needs some work.
It certainly does. And I want you to pay attention to that window right there because that's at the end of that space. It's really long, it's narrow, it's dark as all get out, and it's also quite wide. And I think that's part of what they had to contend with is that this is, there's a lot of space in there. It's not wide enough for an island, but it's too wide to be
just to be floor space. Yeah.
So that's the same window right there.
It's very interesting because the dining space is here, and we're going to see an image of it in a little bit more detail coming up. And they've actually made a peninsula, a dining table that comes off of the counter. We talked about that in some episodes a while back. Here's a shot looking back. So it is sort of that L-shaped kitchen, and you're right, it's too tight for an island, but it's too big because there's circulation through there as well. And so here's a view looking back towards the cooktop. This is that dining table space that comes off, and it's really interesting because they've created this sort of tube of white that wraps around and up onto the ceiling. Very interesting detail when you look carefully because the countertop is a stone counter that's only 3/4 of an inch thick, and the rest of the tube is made out of MDF, which is less expensive.
I like the two-tone design of the kitchen. I think having the dark cabinetry and then pulling out this white box, filling it with light. You can see the down lights there. I think it's very nice. It really adds a kind of lightness and brightness to it. And it's very interesting to see that this is really only a change in millwork. There's nothing else that's going on.
No structural
change.
But
it really makes a huge difference. Just as a small, we did do a thing about hood fans, months ago.
Yeah.
I really do like the way that then this breaks through that. And then the cabinetry stops to let that go. Very, very nice.
Very, very light. So continuing on, the bathroom, of course, needed an update. So this is what it looked like before. And again, they didn't have the ability to move the plumbing fixtures or move the walls.
I got to say, I'm not so sure about having that window or that door with the glass in it.
No, it's kind of a strange detail.
It's strange.
So what they did is they looked at it compositionally, and it's really interesting because they took the whole back wall of the bathroom with the toilet, and they created a composition with a floating vanity, a floating mirror, a wall shelf, and then some extra storage, and they kind of shifted all the planes around, and that's what they came up with.
Again, remarkable, right? That's what.
It's shocking. It's hard to believe that it's actually the same space. Here's a before and after side by side.
Just to prove it
that it actually is. But this is a cosmetic change, and through detail and through material use, they've created an unbelievable lightness.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know that I would call it cosmetic because that sounds kind of superficial. This is actually pretty profound, but they're doing it with millwork rather than that. That actually brings us to something when we come back next week and we talk a little bit more about the laneway house. We actually have a precedent project from France, where they took a small garage exactly the same size as the one that we've been working on and did a millwork solution for the interior that I think is really nice. So we'll be looking at that. So have a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. If you're interested in learning more about the principles of slow home design, you can pick up a copy of our book entitled What's Wrong with This House? It's a practical guide to finding a well-designed and sustainable home. It's available for sale on the Slow Home Studio website. It's also available for sale at Amazon.com in both paperback and the Kindle format.